Hey, good evening and welcome to Freedom Speech and You. I am your host, Kenneth, and Andrea cannot be with us tonight. Andrea has a medical condition and she has lost her voice. She will be with us in chat. We hope that you tune in shortly. In the meantime, I will hang around until we have viewers and I will just kind of eat up time and play some things to get us going and just keep the stream alive while we wait for viewers to tune in. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's see if we can scare up an audience, and we'll just put this on so that if those who randomly come in and say, well, gee, how did I find this and where do I go to watch the show? This is how. Hey, okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So I was running that video to allow me to have a little bit of time to send out some Discord invites to friends. And once I finish that, I will come back to the show. But you're watching Freedom Speech and You. I am your host, Kenneth. And tonight's show will be about the Pulse Nightclub tragedy of 6 years ago. And so once we have an audience, that is the topic that I will get into. But in the meantime, we have Andrea available in chat tonight, and she is going to be our hostess in chat. And she has to do that because she has lost her voice due to a medical condition. And so we will hear from Andrea via the keyboard alone. And we will all hope and pray that she gets well very soon and that her medical condition passes. And that's what we're going to do as a group because we love our friends and we want to make sure that they all have good health. And so if you would just excuse the fact that I'm not looking at you and I'm not seeing your chat for a few moments, I will finish my invites and be on my way to doing the show. We have, as I said, the Pulse Nightclub Memorial tonight, and we have other topics that we want to get to. We certainly want to get to your topics. And my invites are done, so I can get back to the screen and watch what you're saying and doing. So, okay, so for our viewers who tuned in late and watched this in replay, we apologize for the chaos at the beginning, if you will. And so now we'll get into the actual show. And so 6 years ago on this date, June 12th, the 49 people lost their lives at the Pulse Nightclub, and 53 others were wounded in that incident. And what we want to do is we want to memorialize them tonight. So I'm going to add this memorial to the stream, and I will repeat it if we have more viewers at a later time in the show. So this is our memorial for Pulse, and we're going to read off the names of the individuals. So the individuals killed at Pulse were Stanley Almodovar III, Amanda Lizette Alvear, Oscar A. Arinza Montero, Rodolfo Ayala, Antonio Tony Brown, Daryl Roman Burt II, Angel Candelero Padro, Juan Chavez Martinez, Luis D. Conde, Corey James Connell, Tevin Eugene Crosby, Dianca D.D., and my mouse pointer is getting in my way. I want to be able to see that, so give me a second. Let me maximize that so I can see. Dianca D.D. Drayton, Simone Adrian Carrillo Fernandez, Leroy Valentin Fernandez, Mercedes Marisol Flores, Peter Omni Gonzalez Cruz, Juan Ramon Guerrero, Paul Terrell Henry, Frank Hernandez, Miguel Angel Honorato, Javier Jorge Reyes, Jason Benjamin Josephat, I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly, Eddie Jamal Droy Justice, Anthony Luis Laureano Disla, Christopher Andrew Liamnen, Alejandro Barries Martinez, Brenda Marquez McCool, Gilberto R. Silver Menendez, Kimberly Jean Morris, Ikira Monet Murray, Luis Omar Ocasio Capo, Gerardo A. Ortiz Jimenez, Eric Ivan Ortiz Rivera, Joe Rayon Paniga, I'm not sure I'm saying that correctly. I apologize. Jean C. Mendez Perez, Enrique L. Rios Jr., Jean Carlos Nieves Rodriguez, Javier Emmanuel Serrano Rosado, Christopher Joseph Sanfeliz, Yomari Rodriguez Solivan, Ede Sotomayor Jr., Shane Evan Tomlinson, Martin Benitez Torres, Jonathan A. Camuy Vega, Juan Pablo Riviera Velasquez, Luis Sergio Vielma, Frankie Jimmy De Jesus Velasquez, Luis Daniel Wilson Leon, and Jerry Wright. Those are the 49 individuals who died at Pulse. We honor them today, 6 years from the date that they died. So that is our Pulse Memorial for this evening. And so it's just the two of us here tonight. I've sent out the invites, but as usual, people are busy on their Sunday night. So things are what they are. I had a busy day today. How about you, Andrea? And yet nothing has changed. Yes, that is truly sad that nothing has changed in regard to the gun laws. There should have been gun laws dating back to the first school shooting and all of these other shootings that have taken place, not just Pulse, but so many others at concerts and venues and street corners and schools and churches and synagogues and other places of worship. And it just keeps going on and on and on. And yet we have one party that stands in the way of it all, the Republican Party. And they harp on the Second Amendment. But honestly, the Second Amendment clearly states that the militia is to be well regulated. So they cannot say that there is no cause for regulation. And so that's what we have going on. There were other things that I sent to you. So let me look at what I sent to you earlier about the show tonight. So the first topic obviously was your inability to speak due to the disease. And that was real quick. And we went over the Pulse names, which we will do again if we get more picture people. And what was the other thing? I mean, obviously, we're hoping that we get viewers so that we can get their topics as well. I did talk about the 49 killed and the 53 wounded. And so I did all those things because they don't know how to read the Constitution. Right. They only know how to interpret it the way they want it to read. And that's really the problem with everything that they stand in the way of, not just the gun lobby, not just, the gun laws, the way that they support the gun lobby and everything else. What constitutes the freedom to be able to have an abortion or to choose one? Because the Constitution clearly states that no one's life, liberty, or pursuit of happiness should be taken away. Well, if you're going to talk about somebody that's been raped, how is that person supposed to have any happiness if you force them to have the baby that was the cause of their rape? That's not happiness. So that's not being in accordance with the Constitution. So, and if you're going to use the Bible as a basis for that, the Bible clearly states that there are times when there will be losses in life and so on. So you can't really justify it from the Bible. It just has to all be too one-sided. There's a bipartisan group of senators announcing agreement on gun control today in the news. Is that the House? Because I know that the House had such a bill, bipartisan group. Oh, you say senators. I didn't read that correctly. Bipartisan group of 20 senators agreement for gun control. So this is 5 hours ago on CNN. Bipartisan group of senators announced agreement on gun control. Can I see it, or is it going to be? There's a video, and there's some text. Okay, so let's see. It's already on 150%. I don't know if that's viewable. We'll find out. So, oops. I should have left that in the studio. Well, I can bring that back. So share the screen. Is that viewable at all on your tablet? It might be too small. Could probably make that bigger. See what happens if I make it bigger. Bipartisan group of senators announces agreement on principle for gun safety legislation today, which includes, quote, needed mental health resources, improved school safety and support for students, and helps ensure dangerous criminals and those who are adjudicated as mentally ill cannot purchase weapons, end quote. Notably, the announcement includes the support of 10 Republican senators, which would give the proposal enough support to overcome the Senate filibuster. Yay! The agreement is significant given how divided lawmakers have been over the gun issue, but the actual legislative text is not yet written. The proposal includes support for state crisis intervention orders, funding for school safety resources, an enhanced review process for buyers under the age of 21, and penalties for straw purchasing. Good, you can see it on the iPad. Clinically, the legislation includes a so-called red flag provision. Includes a so-called red flag provision with the government providing, quote, resources to states and tribes to create and administer laws that help ensure deadly weapons are kept out of the hands of individuals whom a court has determined to be a significant danger to themselves and others, end quote. Would also include, quote, major investments to increase access to mental health and suicide prevention programs and other support services available in the community, including crisis and trauma intervention and recovery. It would additionally provide resources to, quote, expand mental health and supportive services in schools, including early identification and intervention programs and school-based mental health and wraparound services. It would address an area that the GOP have focused on in recent weeks, school security. The lawmakers said in their release the proposal provides money to, quote, help institute safety measures in and around primary and secondary schools, end quote, while also supporting, quote, school violence prevention efforts, end quote, and training the school employees and the students. As for the review process for buyers under 21, lawmakers said, quote, requires investigative period to review juvenile and mental health records, including checks with state databases and local law enforcement, end quote. Then they go on to state who is involved in this. Senator Cornyn of Texas, Senator Tillis and Burr of North Carolina, Blunt of Missouri, Cassidy of Louisiana, Collins of Maine, Graham of South Carolina, Portman of Ohio, Romney of Utah, Toomey of Pennsylvania. Also includes Democrats Kristen Sinema and Mark Kelly, Chris Murphy, Richard Blumenthal, Cory Booker, Chris Coons, Mark Heinrich, Joe Manchin, Debbie Stabenow, and Angus King of Maine, who is an independent. So the president said the agreement, quote, does not do everything I think is needed, but reflects important steps in the right direction, end quote. He went on to say the most significant gun safety legislation to pass Congress in decades. With bipartisan support, there are no excuses for delay and no reason why it should not quickly move through the Senate and House. Yeah, that's a shocker that Graham and Sinema signed off on it. Or for that matter, Manchin. Each day that passes, the president continued, more children are killed in this country. The sooner it comes to my desk, the sooner I can sign it, and the sooner we can use these measures to save lives, end quote. The president also thanked Murphy, who held negotiations for Democrats, as well as Cornyn, Sinema, and Tillis. Mitch McConnell had the following to say. The principles they announced today show the value of dialogue and cooperation. I continue to hope their discussions yield a bipartisan product that makes significant headway on key issues like mental health and school safety, respects the Second Amendment, earns broad support in the Senate, and makes a difference for our country. Typical. The dude always tries to take credit for stuff that he didn't help legislate. Senate Majority Leader Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said he would put a bill on the floor, quote, as soon as possible, end quote. He continued, quote, after an unrelenting wave of gun-related suicides and homicides, including mass shootings, the Senate is poised to act on common sense reforms to protect Americans where they live, where they shop, and where they learn. We must move swiftly to advance this legislation because if a single life can be saved, it's worth the effort, end quote. This is surprising. Gun control activists responded most positively to the agreement on Sunday. Oh, well, I kind of read that backwards. So the people that are for gun control responded positively. March for Our Lives said it welcomes the proposed reforms. David Hogg had the following to say, in a less broken society, we would be able to require background checks every single time someone wants to buy a gun, and we would ban assault rifles outright. But if even one life is saved or one attempted mass shooting is prevented because of these regulations, we believe that is worth fighting for. We're grateful to the bipartisan group of senators that worked on this compromise. That's what he said. Yes, maybe there is hope. Former Representative Gabby Giffords called the reforms, quote, a life-saving step forward. As a congresswoman, I always worked across the party lines to get things done for my constituent. This deal represents that it is still possible to cut through politics and deliver for the American people. She said this in a series of tweets. She continued, and while this agreement is not perfect, many details remain to be worked out and much more must be done. It's carefully drafted and passed into law. If carefully drafted and passed into law, this framework could be a life-saving step forward, she said. Talks went on all weekend. Still, the agreement would be significant given how divided lawmakers have been over the gun issue, even in the wake of a series of devastating mass shootings, including one that killed 19 children, 2 teachers at the elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. One source with knowledge of the discussion said negotiators were hoping to get 10 Republican senators to sign on the agreement before it was announced in order to show they can overcome the filibuster threshold. And this is necessary because of the current 50-50 division between Democrats and GOP. The 4 main Senate negotiators, Murphy, Sinema, Cornyn, and Tillis, were in talks all weekend to hammer out final details and have been in discussions with larger bipartisan group of negotiators. The House voted 223 to 204 last week to pass wide-ranging package of gun control legislation called Protecting Our Kids Act. The measure is not expected to pass the Senate, however, amid widespread GOP opposition to stricter gun control. That was what I was talking about when I started talking about this. I knew that that had passed previously, and it wasn't passed by the Senate, so hopefully this is. Passage of the legislation in the House took place after an emotional hearing on gun violence in which families of victims pleaded for more action, and we did watch a lot of that on TV. Representative Raskin of Maryland on Sunday praised the Senate negotiators for their work, but he stopped short of voicing support. He said, quote, "We would certainly vote on it and work on it. And he added, it's moving in the right direction. We're glad the Senate is finally awake about this," end quote. Alexandria Cortez, the representative from New York, said later that she would be willing to support legislation, quote, "if we get a real baby step, not the kind of distractionized thing from the solution," end quote. She stressed that including a provision for background checks is critical. And she said, I believe that if we can get background checks through, my hope is that it's a yes, end quote, on the legislation. So that is the full article. Yes, I agree with her. We need background checks because we can't just determine things based on age. We need to know what it is that people have done before we let them have a gun. So that's what that article is about. And I do not know where our friends are tonight. I guess everybody is involved in something tonight. Not really sure. I sent out a lot of invites to people on Facebook. I know that in like 15 minutes approximately, we start competing with those who come on at 8 o'clock Eastern. But I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the family time that keeps people from tuning in or what it is. But I sent out more invites on Facebook today. And I put in all the times and all the time zones that I knew that I could put in. So I don't know. I think that I would have some kind of messages if they didn't understand what was going on. So not really sure how and why. Yeah, someday we'll get with an audience. Typically, I've noticed that we tend to get an audience after the hours get later, and I think a lot of that has to do with the time zones of our friends. Some of them are just getting off work in the Pacific time zone, so I don't know. I did put a tweet out on the Twitter for this actual program. I probably should try to go back to Twitter and put out another tweet to the old page and see what happens. I don't think that will affect anything. And so we'll just see what happens there. So let me go find my tweet. So let me put the old address in here. And I'm going to put your Twitter account in here. Maybe that will help bring people in. So I'll put Freedom Speech and You is live. Put that in quotes so they'll know that's the title. So join us and participate. And put tonight's focus, honor of Pulse victims. Okay, and didn't spell that right. Got to fix that. That's not good. We don't want to misspell a word. Okay, and let me get the website address while I'm at it so that they can find us. You know, while I'm doing this, I'm going to say that today I noticed on one of my websites, and I don't know if it's Freedom Speech and You, but I'll have to check that out too, that I built the website and I got the desktop or laptop, the browser version of the website, just the way I wanted it. And that was all fine and good. But then I noticed today, because I was on a mobile device, that when I looked at the mobile version of the website in question, there were elements to it that were in the original design that I didn't eliminate. And so I have a menu for the website on the mobile version that is really in conflict with what the website is intended to be for. And so I need to go back and look at that when I'm done and edit the mobile version and get out all of those elements that have nothing to do with it, because they're the Wix.com template and their example, and they're just confusing. But I didn't see them because I just looked at the website on my computer, and I looked at the body of the website, the homepage of the mobile version, but I didn't examine all the details in it. So that was funny, but oh well. See, I told you. Yes, you did. You did tell me that there were elements in a website that were there that were unnecessary. So I will have to go back and tool those out. So that's something that I will do. But I was able to get the website. In fact, let me bring the website up as it is. I was able to get the website to look like this. So I was able to get the website to look like that. And I can put myself in the corner here. And so, it looks like this, and it has this part up here, this white line that has to do with the fact that it's a free website. I can't get rid of that white line unless I want to pay for the website. But it's got the logo that you designed, Andrea, in it. And now it tells you what these icons are for. And I don't know if you can see that at home, but it says calendar, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Discord. These icons take you to the appropriate web links. So then it has that. And then it has the title and it talks about what we're about. So it tells you what the podcast is about. And then it tells you where to contact us. And that's pretty much it. So it's very simplistic. But I can't bring up the mobile version. But suffice to say that the mobile version is smaller, and suffice to say that the mobile version doesn't have all this free space over here or this free space over here. It's just kind of like one column, but it has a menu bar like right next to this title. And it's that menu bar that has stuff in it that's totally unnecessary and not pertinent to our show. So that's what I have to work on, is I have to edit those things out of that menu bar. So that will be the next thing I work on. And I will tell you this, that we definitely have viewers who only use their mobile devices. So that's going to be, that's going to be something that has to be done. It's going to have to be tooled so that it works for them and makes it easier for them to use it. So anyway, and I see that you posted on Discord, and I don't know why. Okay. Yeah, that's where you posted. So okay, so you put that in there. That should help people find us. Thank you so much. Maybe people will tune in sooner or later. So, what else did you read in the news today that was interesting? I guess one of the other things that I will show you while I'm thinking is that we did have our podcast previously on the old page that I had called Space Coast Progressive News, and what I did was I renamed that, and I didn't know whether I even told you about that, but I renamed that to The Democratic Journey. And so it has its own website, and I was able to find this free to use graphic online. And so that's the graphic that I use with it. And what that website does is it replicates the same type of website. It has its own Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitter in case I want to use it. But it has this icon over here. And this little icon over here, if you can't see it at home, is the Freedom Speech and You. So what happens is when you click on that, it takes you to Freedom Speech and You. And unfortunately, my StreamYard can't just click and go there. But basically, when I clicked on it, it went back to the website for this show, and boom, you get the website for this show. And so there's the website for the show. And so that's one of the nice things about it, is that if there are a group of people still reading that old Facebook and they find that, then they will find the show. And probably that's one more thing I could do, is go to that Facebook while I'm talking and put that we are live. So Let me do that real quick. So create a post on that. We are live with our podcast, and we are honoring the Pulse victims on this 6th anniversary of their death. Okay, put that in there and post. Hi, Crystal. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Freedom, Speech, and You. Great to have you here. Let me see. I got a couple of things. No, there's nothing really there pertinent to the show, so I can come back to the screen. So good to have you tonight, Crystal. Crystal, if you have friends, you can invite them to join us for tonight's podcast. We're honoring the Pulse victims tonight, so we can go over their names again before the podcast is over. And we are here mostly to discuss the topics that you want to discuss. We did discuss with Andrea earlier about the gun control legislation that seems to be coming along and possibly could get passed due to thanks to the 10 Republican senators who are supporting such legislation. And so we could go over that again. And just anything you want to talk about. And we do want to tell you, since you just tuned in, Crystal, that Andrea is with us in chat tonight because she has a medical condition and she has lost her voice. And so she has no speaking voice for tonight's podcast, but she is going to be here to keep me on track. And she is going to make sure that I notice your chat. And she will get in my direct message box if I should stray off too far. But I've been pretty good tonight. So there we are. And if Andrea wants to describe her medical condition in chat, I would prefer for her to do that so that I would not get anything wrong about that. But otherwise, we can keep it among the private Discord. But we certainly want Andrea back with her voice to help keep things on track and to moderate and to discuss the topics that are near and dear to her heart. And so that's what we got going on tonight. We're 45 minutes into the show. We have 3 people on YouTube, so we have a private viewer who hasn't spoken up yet. And we probably have my Twitch account broadcasting it, or we have a viewer on Twitch who hasn't spoke up yet. So Andrea has spasmodic dysphoria, if I'm saying it correctly. And if I remember correctly from what I read earlier, it is a tightening of the vocal cords that prevents the vocal cords from vibrating when the air is blown over them. And it makes it impossible to speak and makes her have laryngitis-like condition tonight, but she's totally lost her voice. And so we're going to send out healing vibes and prayers for Andrea and hope that she gets over this quickly. But in the meantime, we will make sure that her voice is heard from chat. And we would like to talk about the January 6th committee that happened on Friday. Okay, I watched approximately one half of that. I don't know how well the video would come across, but we could surely try it. Would you like to watch watch that video or what? Or would you just simply like to talk about it? And I received a private message, and so I would keep that private. Okay. Would you like to watch the video? Okay, we could watch the video. Do you want to watch the video from the beginning, or do you want to proceed from where I left off? Because I could talk about it, but I've only seen parts of it. So I can tell you what parts that I have seen so far. I think that I saw the chairman's entire comments 2 times now. let me bring it up, because the week has gone by and it was January 8th. Wasn't that January 8th that they did that? Or was it January 9th? Let me bring up the timeline. So it says it was 3 days ago, so it must have been January 9th. That's right, it was January 9th, because last week's show was called Jan 6, June 9. That was in the title of last week's show. So it was January 9th. So today is Sunday. Thursday. That would have been Thursday, June 9th. Okay. Don't need a calendar. Can count backwards. So there is a synopsis here on the New York Times. I don't think I will be able to look at that. And I'll see if I can bring. There's that. There's a Wikipedia article. Andrea says, see what happens when I'm not on live. Well, see, the thing is I'm not a New York Times subscriber, so I can't bring it up. It would probably hit me with the paywall. So let's just go to the Wikipedia article and see if there's enough summary there to go from. So let's see if they have that. So I'm going to read it. I'm not going to put it on screen. But here's what the Wikipedia article says about the June 9th hearing. Crystal says, Liz sure seems to have control over the process. Yes, and I think there's a design on that for her to have control over the process, because as a GOP member, it gives more credence for the GOP for her to be the speaking person. If the person doing most of the speaking were a member of the DNC, then the GOP would cry foul and say that nobody from their party was involved in the process. So that's kind of the reason why she probably has control over it. Crystal also says, I'm just seeing things after the fact. Hard when one does not have cable. Yeah. It can be hard when you don't have cable. Because a lot of people don't have access to like an online version of their local television and maybe don't know how to use an antenna or can't use one in their location. I don't have cable. I use an antenna for over-the-air reception. And I would have watched the Jan 9th coverage. I mean, June 9th, Jan 9th. Oh, my. I would have watched the Jan 6 coverage on June 9th. But the reality was that in my area, I was watching it on TV, and then I had to go help somebody with her TV, and I didn't get to watch it all. So I'm going to go to the coverage that Andrea has suggested, which is more detailed. So it's on cbsnews.com. And let me see what you put down. January 6th timeline, key moments. Key moments. Hey, Jim, welcome to the broadcast. Just getting ready to load the January 6th timeline that Andrea has suggested. Get my, oops, not that. Not that. Is it a I always dislike when all these websites go nuts and try to send me hundreds of notifications and advertisements when I'm just trying to do a show. Okay. Get it up to twice the size. That should work. So this is CBS News, and this is Key Moments. And if the webpage will just cooperate, we can actually read some of it. Okay. Hey, Mark P., welcome to the broadcast. So here we are. Let me get the screen up here. What did I do? I full screened it. So let me. Every time I do this thing with my mouse pointer, I just kind of lose track of where I am, and I can't do what I'm trying to do. Did I open a new window? Is that why I'm? Nope. Okay. I must have full screened it, and I'm lost in a full screen. So give me a moment to figure this out. There. Now I'm out of the full screen. Yippee! Now I can actually see the controls. This Moments of Pause and Causation is brought to you by a computer being remote controlled. Okay. Now, are we in scale? Are we on the right tab? We lost our scale, so we need to bring our scale back to where we can read this for viewers at home. All right. There we go. Okay. So now we have the January 6th timeline. And we scroll down. And it says, true scale and severity of January 6th didn't sink in until days, weeks, and even months later. As prosecutors and news outlets released news videos and images, Americans gained a better sense of the violence, destruction, and size of the mob that attacked the Capitol. A joint session of Congress was to affirm the Electoral College ballot count. Biden had beat Trump. And so this is CBS's notable moments of the images from that day with updates. Is this the right article or is this the wrong article, Andrea? Let me go back to the date on this article. This article was updated January 7th, so this is going to be a couple of days before the committee. So I want to know, is this the right article? And just go further. She says, okay. Did you want to read this timeline? So I'm gathering from your reaction that it's further down into this article where they update the article. So I'm going to keep scrolling. Yeah, I mean, the timeline seems to be out of date. Stop, read the timeline. The whole timeline? Give you an idea of the timeline and just the headlines. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay, so we went over this part. At 7:39 p.m. on January 5th, pipe bombs at DNC and RNC. So pipe bombs were placed at both committee headquarters. That was at 7:39 on January 5th, 2021. Scott McFarlane tweeted, more new video map released by FBI in Gen 5th pipe bomb case. So that was the day before that those pipe bombs were out there. At 7:40 a.m. on January 6th, Park Police receive an email that warns of a large crowd has broken through a barrier made of bicycle racks at the base of the Washington Monument, which was closed for security reasons. So this is the breakthrough. Meanwhile, Chad is saying, Jim says, pretty sure we all know what a timeline from January will show. Crystal says, what I did see was really something. It brought me back to when I saw the first time. I can't believe how they think that was a peaceful protest. Andrea says, we know when Trump was in his bunker, he was finalizing his plans for this. Trump had been planning this since he got in office, I believe, says Andrea. At 8:27 a.m. on the 6th, escalated planning. As a part of escalated planning, DC Metro police officers working and preparing for 12-hour shifts, according to the testimony of acting DC Police Chief Robert Conte III. At the height of the violence, 850 DC officers, 1/5 of the force, were at the U.S. Capitol. At 8:51 a.m. on that day, 10,000 people were at the Ellipse, where Trump was scheduled to speak at 11 a.m. It is noted that members of the crowd were wearing ballistic helmets, body armor, and carrying radio equipment, as well as military-grade backpacks. At 10:41 a.m., the crowd started jamming the downtown D.C. district. Andrea says, I don't get it either, Crystal. It's all a play to their GOP base. Yes, That's true, Andrea, because their base will listen to them and ignore everybody else because, quote unquote, everybody else is the swamp and not to be trusted. Crystal says, I really wouldn't be surprised. I still think he thinks this is a reality show that he is on. That could be so. He is a delusional character. Crystal says, I don't want to be in this reality show anymore. At that 10:41 time, DC Fire and Emergency Medical Services begin to request help to navigate the crowds that are jamming the downtown district. And they would later produce a video about their response. Trump tells his supporters to go to the Capitol. This is a video. So at 12 p.m., he addresses his supporters, urging them to go to the Capitol to demonstrate peacefully, but he also exhorted them to act, quote, if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore, end quote. Jim says he never watches reality shows. And Andrea agrees with Crystal about not wanting to be a part of the reality show. At 12:45, a wall of people suddenly arrived. It begins. The Senate review recounted what, quote, would look like a wall of people suddenly arrived about a block west of the Capitol, end quote. And around the same time, a pipe bomb was discovered in a nearby area. Crystal says, no, I don't want either, and I don't want to be in one either. So she doesn't want to be in one of Trump's reality shows or be involved in his sort of things. Jim says he knew at the time that the Secret Service was not letting him go to the Capitol. Andrea says, me neither, but we are stuck in this shit show of one. Andrea is in agreement with someone. Mark says, you don't know what you're missing at Jim the Geek. Just kidding. Re-watching reality TV shows. Mark, I really don't watch many reality TV shows. I think I watched an occasional episode of what do they call that? The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, but usually it was a case of I just got home from doing something with work and it was on and I watched it to unwind from work before I went to bed, and I watch it on the TV that's in my dining room. Andrea says, that we suspect was MTG. Yes, we suspect that Marjorie Taylor Greene, or as some like to call her, Marjorie Trader Greene, was trying to probably do the pipe bomb and discredit those that were discredit those who were protesting during the summer and trying to say, along with the GOP false dialogue, that it was the Antifa protesters who protested the George Floyd death or similar deaths. Crystal says, I did see the shoes and it did look like the shoes she wears. If she wore her own shoes, she's pretty dumb. But then we all know she's pretty dumb. Andrea Brower says, they haven't said so, so I hope they bring it up in the hearings. Yes, would like to know. Jim says the producers are playing their audience as fools. Do you mean the producers of the reality shows in general? I would think so. Andrea says yes to Jim the Greek. Crystal says, yes, that's very true, but if I was to watch one, I want it to be entertaining. Well, I have to say that if you watch a lot of these reality shows, you know that they're really staged. And really being in television, that's one of the reasons why I know they're really staged, is because I can tell that you can't get the camera views that you get on the reality shows without it being staged. And you can't guarantee that you're going to get 100% coverage of every little tantrum that happens if it's not 100% or 99 and 44 100% staged. Mark says, I confess, I'm big time into them. Survivor is my favorite, and I'm guilty of watching The Apprentice. I never would have imagined that show would be able to play a role in electing Trump president. Mark, the problem there is that the people who have the tendency to be influenced into a lot of the aspects of the GOP, the gun-toting people, the people who like things like Dog the Bounty Hunter and that sort of thing, they all believe this stuff is real. They don't get that it's all done for play. Crystal says, yeah, those are weird shows. Yeah, those are weird shows. And I'm going to put myself back in the corner so you can see that I'm talking. I probably should just make myself bigger too, because we're 100% into the chat now, and you're starting to get real fast. So let's see. Did it bring that up? No, it didn't bring that up. Okay. Crystal says, I tried to watch The Apprentice once because of one of the celebrities, and I couldn't stand it. And she continues, I've never liked Trump over the years. Good as Gold joins us. Hello, Good as Gold. Welcome to the podcast. And hello to Mark from Good as Gold. Andrea says, I like dog. My relatives like dogs, so that's one that immediately came up to me. And I have friends who like the, what do you call them? Oh, shoot. Their merchandise was at Walmart once. And Crystal likes WWW. Hi, Kenneth. Wow, you're the same house that Stuttering John used to have. Yeah, well, that's because we both use StreamYard. So that's why it looks the same. That should have been shoes, I think. I think you're still talking about the shoes of Marjorie Taylor Greene. And we're all doing roundabout hellos. And everybody's saying hello to everyone. WWW is fake. Yes, very much fake. All of those, almost all of those wrestling things are fake. Because it's all staged for the fun of it and how much they can make. That fireplace looks a lot like Noel Castler's too. Ha ha ha. Yeah, it could be. I mean, it's StreamYard. If I take and take the camera and take the background out, then this is what you actually have behind me. This is what's really behind me, a wall. And I used to do this brick thing, and I'll do this too, just really quickly. It takes a little while for it to load. It's being slow. Sorry. There, a brick wall. Almost looks like Hal's brick wall from early shows by Hal. But I'll go back to this. Okay, so except Noel Castler's is real, yes. But at least it's more scripted, says Crystal. Yes, with the WWW. And Good as Gold says Noel broadcasts from Real House. And Crystal says ye old green screen. And actually, it's not a green screen. It's actually a wall that's painted green, but it's close enough. And that's why I can get it to work. And I'm not actually using the keying function. I'm replacing it virtually. So you notice if I hold my hands up, they kind of they're kind of there, they're kind of not there. That's because it's virtually replacing it. So it's doing an approximation of me based on what it sees in the picture. It's not actually a key. And here all along, I thought you were a pianist. Jim, I can't really play a piano. I used to plunk a few keys to tune my guitar, but yeah, I could play chords on a guitar. Good as Gold asked, do you think the DOJ will actually do something re the commission? I think they will. Crystal says this is more comfortable looking, somewhere where we could all chat. Yes, it's nice. I really like that this exists. I think it makes it, more of a chat room, and it really looks like a big, great room. Good as Gold laughs at Jim's joke about the piano, as well as Andrea. Yes, it did look like a wall. Didn't seem to work well with the wall. The thing that happens with the wall, I think, is that the lighting kind of comes more pronounced and stuff. And I do have a picture of the, what do you call it? The Mars rover. So I have the actual picture of Mars for my other podcast. So when I do my other podcast and it's about space and space workers, it looks like I'm on Mars. Andrea says DOJ depends on Merrick Garland. Crystal laughs. Good as Gold says that she agrees with Crystal about worrying. So I'm not sure what that's about. We're worrying about. Oh, probably worrying about what the DOJ will do. Okay. Andrea, are you drinking raspberry tea? Anyone know what is on the docket for tomorrow morning's 1/6 hearings? Wouldn't know that, Mark, unless there is something that's printed. Good as Gold says, worrying whether Marjorie Taylor Greene will do something. Andrea affirms that and says, okay. What time are the hearings tomorrow? They're 10 a.m. tomorrow. So that is the Eastern time zone, 10 a.m. Central time zone, it's 9 a.m. If we have anybody in Mountain, that would be 8 a.m. If you're in Pacific time, that would be 7 a.m. And if Lynette was here from Hawaii, that would be 4 a.m. And if we had anybody from the UK, it would be 2 p.m. Finish the timeline. Okay, back to the timeline. So got to go back here. I'm going to go back to the timeline. So at 1:03 p.m. on Jan 6, Pence had galloped in the Senate. Come on, mouse. Where are you? Why did you just suddenly stop? Oh, because you're on the wrong page. Okay. Well, now that I messed the mouse thing up, 10 a.m. Eastern time, 9 Central, 8 Mountain, 7 a.m. Pacific. Jim says, we'll have to watch the rerun, have to work. Crystal says, I think Garland would have been a good justice. Not sure if he's trying to do so careful that he might overdo it. Well, I will be up, so that would be good. Maybe Midas Touch will be on. Yes, Midas Touch should be on. I would expect them to cover it tomorrow. And Andrea agrees that Merrick Garland would have been better as a Supreme Court justice. He definitely would have. We could use him in the Supreme Court. So I get my mouse back over here on the right side of the screen. Why is it not moving? Okay, probably because I'm not windowed right. Okay, so let me put myself back on the screen. Let me figure out why this is misbehaving. Wow. It's just like I lost control. So I may have to remote into the remote computer again to get control back. So hang on. One second. Probably. So while I find my remote computer again, y'all are chatting so fast, like boom, boom, boom. I wish I had a voice box to just read the chat. Where did I give off? Okay, I gave off with, okay, Midas Touch will be on. And we were talking about Garland being good justice. And Good as Gold said, methodical plotting and sure doesn't give us a sense of urgency in discussing Merrick Garland. Crystal agrees with that. Andrea says that Midas is covering it. Good as Gold says, can you imagine if Glenn Kirshner were the AG, we'd be so happy right now. I think we definitely would. Mark P says, as with last Thursday night, I doubt there will be any problem in finding where to find a stream for the hearing. There were multiple streaming choices. Yes, Mark P, because I used ordinary network television through local TV, at least until I had to leave the house, and then I was on my phone. And on YouTube, there is a YouTube channel for the Jan 6 Commission. Go out there and find it. You can get it direct from the source. Okay. How will, as far as I know, he will be on? Yes, he will, Andrea. Everyone will cover it except for Fox, says Andrea. The other night, I switched back and forth between Midas and Mary Trump, said Good as Gold. Mark P says, wait until we get more people in here. Crystal says, Mary Trump would probably be good, true. Andrea says, I know, right, Mark P. Andrea says, yes, she would be, Crystal. Mark P says, I cut the cord last year and I can also stream the network coverage via YouTube TV. So hang on, folks. I'm gonna minimize this. I hope hopefully will not go black. So hopefully you're still hearing my voice. Give me a second. My computer is freezing. Okay. So if I went back, gug. Okay. I was frozen there for a minute. Hopefully I'm coming back. I apologize for that. Computer a little bit overburdened. Crystal says, I don't think I'd get good info from Fox, so it would just be a loss if I tried to tune in there. Good as Gold says, Mary Trump has lots of people on, including Dean I'm just going to say Dean. LB, or Lincoln's Bible, Kathy Griffin, and a bunch of other people. Andrea asks if Mark likes YouTube TV, or she's commenting that an affirmation that he does. Mark commented that I was frozen. So did Good as Gold, but said I'm fine now. Andrea says I'll have to check Mary out. Good as Gold says, I don't have TV, so I watch everything via YouTube. And Mark P says he uses the TV streaming service out there, in my humble opinion, that YouTube is the best. There are two kinds of YouTube, by the way, if you're not familiar. There's the free YouTube and there's the paid YouTube. And the paid YouTube is a streaming service that replicates things that are special to YouTube, but it's also the cable company equivalent. Okay, house tech issues have spilled over. No, actually, in my case, the tech issues are due to the fact that I'm using a computer that is underpowered to do this show. And my computer just sort of got hung up a little bit on the fact that I have to use my laptop computer in order to control another computer. And the other computer really allows me to do things. And then Good as Gold says, nobody has tech issues like Stuttering John does. And Crystal laughs. And Crystal asks for affirmation as to who Stuttering John is. SJ is Stuttering John. I will try to check it out, says Mark P. So she's talking about YouTube paid version. Jim says immediate gratification like kids do. Everyone wants results now and can't wait. Big cases like these take a long time to build. Crystal says she lost me. We need Benny Loco to tune in here, says Good as Gold. Andrea, Mark says, Andrea, I think they're actually Stuttering John's tech issues. Well, Mark P, Stuttering John, and I use the same piece of software. So there are commonalities between what you might see on this and what you might see on Stuttering John because of the way that it does what it's doing, because it's a web-based thing. Andrea is saying something in affirmation to Jim. She's talking about the tendency for people to want an instant gratification. Good as Gold says to Jim, I understand, but there were issues outside of the January 6th committee that he could have honed in on, like the Mueller report, etc. Yes, Merrick Garland could have done better there. Okay, so this is up. And I should be able to get back into my computer. And I need to downscale that. Mark P says, Jim the Greek, didn't Watergate investigate almost 4 years to complete? Jim the Geek says, I know I'll get slammed for this, but I think Stuttering John is a jerk. You're not alone in that, Jim. There are other people that agree with you. Crystal says, my YouTube stream just put itself on pause, so it works now. Well, Crystal, you know, the technical problems that I had moments ago would be part of the cause of that. So, you know, it's just one of those things that kind of sometimes happens. So, okay, so we left off with Pence gaveling in the Senate at 1:03 p.m. on Jan 6. And Mark said, Mueller handled DOJ obstruction of justice charges, 10 in count, and they pursued none of them. Good as Gold says, one of the differences with Watergate is that while the investigation was going on, he wasn't out there trying to bring down democracy. Jim says it's Jim the Geek, not Jim the Greek. I'm sorry, Jim. I'm probably adding something to the word due to the nature of my throat. So I need to stop and take water. And as I stop and take water, I will acknowledge Aaron West and welcome. I can't use the tongue. Oh, just laugh, chat. Please laugh, chat. I will welcome Aaron West to the chat and say thank you for joining us on Freedom Speech and You. Andrea says, I just texted Benny and she welcomes Aaron to the chat. Good as Gold says, I didn't even know you had a stream. You should let others know. In some cases, Good as Gold, the only way that I can let other people know is if I can find you on Discord. And I've only really started recently friending people on Discord. Now, if I learn where your social media is, then I can probably find you and contact you. If your YouTube handle has an accompanying YouTube page using that same handle, then I could probably send you a message on there. But excuse me, that water went down the wrong way. Crystal says, I think Nixon wasn't trying to get rid of democracy. He just wanted to win the election. Mark and Crystal, welcome Aaron. And Aaron sends an emoji. It looks like a handshake to Mark P. Andrea says we should look at the similarities in discussion with Crystal regarding this and Watergate. Aaron acknowledges Crystal. Jim the Geek says, too bad we can't promote your show on House Sparks radio program Mega Worldwide. Jim, I think I got on 3 times totally through the phone. And I haven't tried lately because the problem is you got to have a topic. And if you don't know what to talk about when you're calling in, you're not going to be on the show very long. But I will say that if you do get on an on-house show as a caller, I think you have a better chance of having more airtime than you do with some other shows because like Stephanie really has callers in and out and they're gone. Mark P says we'll spread the word. Crystal says she only watches Stuttering John when Hal is on. Good as Gold says Stuttering John has wonderful, smart guests. Yes, he does. And that is the real draw for Stuttering John is the guests and the beer on the balcony content. So Jim says I can put a link. Oh, Andrea says to Jim, I can put a link in once I get one from CSL. Well, an okay. So we'll see how that goes. Good as Gold says, wow, so many people have perished. I think you're talking about all of the incidents where people have been shot with guns. That we do have one incident that we want to get to tonight. Now that we have... do we have 6 viewers total? We have 5 viewers total on YouTube, and I think that I'm the 6th one on Twitch, but I really can't be sure about that because my Twitch account kind of sometimes comes and goes. Marpy says, when was the last time took a call on his Saturday show? It's been months. Andrea acknowledges that, saying thank you. Good as Gold says maybe he doesn't want to talk anymore. I know that there was a time that there was technical issues, and I know that the presence of Philip kind of keeps Hal from taking callers. Jim the Geek says, don't, Andrea. Can you imagine Ken trying to read the comments if there were more people here? Jim, this is about the second month that that the comments have remained the way they are, but I do have Restream, and I was going to eventually use Restream so that I could do comments the way that Hal does. So you would see your own comments when I switch to Restream. But we've passed the date that this gets renewed, and I haven't really worked out the details with Restream. But one of the advantages to Restream, even though I would pay slightly more for it, is that I would be able to be in more places. So we might get more viewers for that reason alone. Crystal says, yes, he does. That's a good thing. He gets the answers from people that know that, not just talk like some of the right talking heads. I think you are talking about Hal and the fact that the discussion is around Philip and stuff, or you may be talking about Stuttering John, Crystal, so I'll have to know which. Andrea affirms something that Good as Gold said. Mark P. Aaron West says, he did 2 or 3 weeks ago. So 2 or 3 weeks ago, Hal did take a caller. There are a couple of laughters and reactions to Jim the Geek. Mark P says Hal has been reserving the second hour for Philip. Crystal affirms that. Good as Gold says, please let others know you have a show I didn't even know. I will try. I just need a good forum in which to do that. So I think I need to friend a lot more people in the Patreon Discord, and I need to find the link for the non-Patreon Discord. That would possibly get me in people's back pockets, and they would pull me out once in a while and watch the show. Jim says Jim is being addressed by Andrea and says she will be back on soon to help me. Andrea says definitely to Good as Gold about promoting the show. Good as Gold says, how about those widows just caught in the U-Haul? They were going to do something to the Pride celebration. It was in Idaho. Okay, we can bring that up. So let me type that in as a search thing. U-Haul. Attack. Idaho. Pride celebration. Okay. U-Haul attack, Idaho Pride celebration. 31 Patriot Front members found in pack in U-Haul arrested. So I will bring that up. The other comments are in affirmation. And Mark P put a description for what Good as Gold. No, excuse me. Is that Mark P? Okay, yes, Mark P is affirming what Good as Gold said and explaining, and Andrea says that she's waiting for CSL to approve announcements and to get the regular Discord. And Mark P is explaining that CSL means can't stop lying. And Jim says, I guess all those gas convenience store workers who wear blue shirts and khakis will have to change their uniforms now. Good as Gold is saying, I hope that CSL is okay, and Mark is worried about the language. We don't worry about the language here on this show. I don't cuss very much, but that doesn't mean that I can't cuss if so provoked, or that I can't read something that people are cussing in. Do you think that the Rethugs are just doing enough to keep people quiet for a bit? Yes, good as gold. They're really into trying to get people to be quiet about everything that is the truth. And so there's that, they want for Jan 6 to go away. And so there's that. And so we're going to go to the topic that was discussed in chat. And I'm going to bring it up a little bit so that you can see it. And that's going to bring it up. And then I'm going to put myself in the bottom here. And of course, every time I go to these pages, there's like all this stuff. So the headline is 31 Patriot Front members found packed in U-Haul arrested near Idaho Pride event. Andres says that Can't Stop Lying is good. He's just working behind the scenes for Hal and will pop in from time to time. Aaron says, I missed any language. Good as Gold affirms that it's good to know that CSL is okay. And Andrea says she talks to him daily. And Aaron says, you pronounce cockies like you're from New England. When did I say cockies? I have no idea. I pick up on other people's dialects. So, yeah, I probably need an ad blocker. Let me try that next week and see if I can get that to work and not have problems. I have noticed, Jim, though, that there are some things that I can't block ads on because then I can't even see the content. So 31 were arrested from a white supremacist group in Idaho near a Pride event on Saturday after they were found packed into the back of a U-Haul with riot gear, nonetheless. Good as Gold says, I bet you anything the GOP had their fingers crossed behind their backs when signing this. Aaron Andreas says, yeah, he did. So I guess that's my cockies. I don't know. Cockies, whatever you want. Cockies. I lost my cockies. There's lots of affirmations and laughter. Okay. The men were standing inside the truck wearing khakis, navy blue shirts, and beige hats with white baklavas covering their face when Corps d'Elaine police stopped the U-Haul and began arresting them on the side of the road. The police chief said they came to riot downtown. They were charged with a conspiracy to riot, a misdemeanor. The men were going through booking Saturday and are scheduled to be arraigned on Monday. Based on evidence collected in documents, our authorities found the group was planning to riot in several areas of downtown, not just the park. Riot gear, a smoke grenade, shin guards, and shields were inside the van. They wore arm patches and logos on their hats that identified them as members of their group. Jim says, I find other sources that don't have ad block restrictions. Yeah, I tried, Jim, because I use, different things. Good as Gold says, I got to go. Take care of the doggies and do the dishes. See you again soon. See you again soon, Good as Gold. And then there's comments about how I say certain words. And goodbyes to Good as Gold. And thanks from Good as Gold to Mark. And come back on Sundays at 7:15 p.m., says Andrea, which is the Eastern time zone. So, and so on. A tipster tipped off the police, who reported it looked like a little army that was loading up in a vehicle. The official spotted the truck soon after it pulled over. Videos of the arrest posted on social media show the men kneeling on grass with their hands zip-tied. Reclaim America was written on back of one of the men's shirts. Police led them off one by one, removed their masks, and brought them to the police van. The arrested came from 11 different states, including Washington, Oregon, Texas, Utah, Colorado, South Dakota, Illinois, Wyoming, Virginia, and Arkansas. Only one of them was from Idaho. The truck was stopped near North Idaho Pride Alliance, where there was an event going on in the park. And police had stepped up their presence for that event. It appears these people did not come here to engage in peaceful events, said the sheriff in his discussion with the reporter. Southern Poverty Law Center describes this group as a white nationalist hate group that formed after the deadly Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017. Crystal says, darn TFG. I'm losing it on TFG. Who is TFG? I'm drawing a blank. Giving permission to attack. Jim says, I'm multitasking during this show, doling out my meds for the next week while watching. Jim affirms only one was from Idaho. Crystal says, park the car in the Harvard yard, pretend it is a Massachusetts accent. Park the car in the Harvard yard. Mark P. says, I need to drop in as well. I'm sure I'll see most of you tomorrow morning watching Jan 6 hearings. Good night, all. Oh, so you're dropping out. Good night, Mark. Andrea says to Crystal, I wonder if the cops were tipped off. It says that they were. Crystal says, rioting is only a misdemeanor. Oh, TFG, the former guy. Yeah, sometimes I forget that. You know, it's funny. I know that when we talk with Hal, but I drew a blank on it tonight. Andrea says goodbye to Mark. Crystal says misdemeanor. Andrea says laugh out loud. Jim says they just changed their name. They are the same group that ran over protesters in Charlottesville. Andrea affirms that to Jim. Mark says goodbye to Andrea. Andrea sends a heart to Mark P. So Patriot Front focuses on theatrical rhetoric and activism that can easily be distributed as propaganda for its chapters across the country, says SPLC. The group manifesto calls for the formation of white ethno-state in the United States, said SPLC. And that's all of that article. So I can go back to the timeline. So if I go back to the timeline. Oh my God, Jim, that's good. Jim says TFG, the fart guy. That is awesome, Jim. Thank you so much for the laughter. So if we go back to the timeline, we already talked about Pence gaveling in at 103. And meanwhile, Trump was at the ellipse saying, "Stop the steal," to his supporters. And I hope Mike Pence is going to do the right thing. I hope so. I hope so, because if Mike Pence does the right thing, we will win the election, said Trump. He continued, "All the vice president has to do is send it back to the states to recertify, and we become president, and you are the happiest people," said Trump. At 1:49 p.m., a riot is declared. Very good, Aaron West. I applaud you. To me, TFG used to be this fucking guy. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. So, riot declared at 1:49, and this came from U.S. Capitol Police calling National Guard Commanding General to request assistance. But the Guard did not arrive for 4 hours. Around 2 p.m., the lawmakers are evacuated. Pence is rushed from the Senate chamber by a security detail. Members of Congress are evacuated to secure locations where they shelter. At 2:11, rioters smashed through first floor windows on Capitol's south front. And I'm going to take myself out of the picture again so that you can read along with me. And they make a hole big enough to climb through. Did that freeze me again? Oh my goodness, again? Not fair. I'm going to type in chat as the page. Do I have audio? I should not have done that. I should not have done that. It's froze again. Why? So my scrolling has frozen again. I do not know why. Can you see me? Can I be seen? My scroll has frozen on the thing. So I'm going to take it out and take it back in. And I'm still good. Okay, so Robin asked from chat if I'm still on, and yes, I'm still on. So I don't know if he really joined us yet. So I'm going to say yes and ask him if he wants a link. So asking him if he wants a direct link. And I don't know, how long ago was that? Whew, that was a whole hour ago. Darn it. Oh well. So it's working. I think maybe a little bit of hesitation. So I'm going to go try to put the timeline back in. And I'm going to, out out of sheer curiosity, see if I can copy that and open up a incognito window and see if that allows me to keep the, does that allow me to keep the ads out? Maybe. That might work a little bit. I can try. And so, because I had to reload it, I'm going to see if I can share that window. And boom, boom, boom. So yeah, that's still on 200%. Good. But I lost my track in the timeline. If it's warm in your house, your computer may slow down. I don't know, Jim. I mean, my computer is pretty good. I'd have to tell you what it is. It used to be a lot easier to tell people what type of computer you have, but I can just tell you that my computer is the one that my son discarded probably about 5 years ago, and it's probably built on a technology that was made in 2014, so you can tell how old it is. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So we had gotten to the part where Pence had did the gaveling in, and Trump had done his stop the steal thing, and the riot was declared, and the evacuation, and the rioters getting through a big enough hole. And now it's 2:14 p.m. and Eugene Goodman, the Capitol Police officer, confronts the mob. And Andrea says that she sent a DM to Robin. So Robin had sent me a DM. So I don't know, but I can try to, and I checked your DMs, Andrea. Okay, and I can try to send a direct link to Robin, because I don't know if Robin has kind of like wonder where we are. So I'm going to turn down my volume so that when I look, boop, boop, boop. Sorry about the echo, folks. So copy the link for Robin and go back to Discord and send it directly to Robin. So Robin now has the link. Okay. So where did I leave off on chat? Crystal says, yes, I can see and hear you. Aaron says, I open an incognito window when I'm on a computer watching Hal that I'm not supposed to be on watching Hal. Andrea says, is that scary? Andrea laughs out loud. Andrea says, check Discord. Aaron wonders, what's scary? Jim says, I use an incognito when I look at porn. Okay. So we're back to the timeline. And darn thing keeps freezing. This website must have too much stuff on it for my computer. So let's see if I can take some stuff that's probably slowing my computer down and see if that helps. There we go. I got my scrolling back. That's what I needed to do. So this talks about the fact that Goodman was given a Congressional Gold Medal for his bravery. At 2:14 p.m., QAnon shaman takes Pence's seat in the Senate. Jacob Chansley stood out among the riders with his Viking hat and face painted red, and he was carrying a flag and a bullhorn. He walked into the Capitol through a broken door, and he reached the Senate floor and clambered into the Senate dais, taking the seat that Mike Pence had occupied earlier. So there's the QAnon shaman. Aaron says, I know my employer watches my internet use. And Andreas says, shaman. He proceeded to take pictures of himself, refused to vacate the seat, and stated that Mike Pence is a fucking traitor, and wrote on a note of the bale of paper on the dais, saying, it's only a matter of time, justice is coming, end quote. By 3:59, he was finally removed from the Senate chamber. The day after the riot, he voluntarily called the FBI and admitted his role in the attack, surrendering 2 days later. Charged originally with a 6-count indictment, including civil disorder, violent entry, disorderly conduct, before agreeing to plead guilty to a single charge of obstruction. He expressed his remorse for his role in rioting and was sentenced to 41 months in prison. Jim says, Shana na, man. Shana na na, shana na na na, shana. Aaron says, or Andrea says to Aaron, when I worked at the hospital, they did there too. Andrea lacks at Jim the Geek. At 2:31 p.m., DC officials asked Pentagon for immediate assistance. Defense Department officials did not like the optics of the National Guard standing aligned at the Capitol. Trump tweets, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement just after 2:30 p.m. He continued, truly on the side of our country, stay peaceful. DJT Jr., Donald Trump Jr., texts White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows saying, quote, he's got to condemn this shit ASAP. The Capitol Police tweet is not enough, end quote. Meadows responded, quote, I'm pushing it hard. I agree, end quote. Andrea says in response to the sentence of the shaman, not enough time. Jim says he's now taking up space in a prison. Andrea says yes. Jim says because the mob breaking into Capitol looked so much better. At 2:35 p.m., the Oath Keepers pushed through the crowds. A tactical staff of these individuals, an anti-government group made up of military and law enforcement veterans dressed in combat gear, pushed through crowds, keeping their hands at each other's back to communicate as they marched up the steps of the Capitol. Prosecutors said they coordinated with other Oath Keepers before and during the attack using apps like MeWe and Zello. At about 2:40 p.m., they forcibly entered the Capitol through the rotunda door pelting objects at police officers who were standing guard and spraying them with chemicals, according to the criminal complaint filed by prosecutors. At 2:39 p.m., Kelte Keller enters the Capitol. He admitted later in a signed document he was a two-time Olympic gold medalist who wore his USC team jacket to the Capitol and was also recognized because at 6'6", he was among the tallest there in the rioting. He faced charges related to his entry into the Capitol and disorderly conduct and pleaded guilty on September 2nd, awaiting sentencing. Jim the Geek says, hut, hut, hut. Conga line. Conga line. Andrea says, be honest, they're all treasonous and should be, according to the Constitution, death. Andrea laughs at Jim. Aaron slaps her forehead. Not sure whether she's slapping it at Jim or slapping it at me. Probably slapping it at me in my reading of Jim's comments. One of the most violent confrontations occurs at 2:42 p.m., as it was described. Rioters broke the windows at the Lower West Terrace and began a 2-hour fight against police that the Justice Department would later call, quote, one of the most violent confrontations of Jan 6. 1 minute later, rioters break the glass door of the House Speaker's lobby, and Zach Alam has not pleaded guilty. Zach Alam was the one seen in a video using a helmet to break through the glass in a doorway to that Speaker's lobby, where Ashley Babbitt was later fatally shot by police. After a video went viral showing Alam smashing the glass, his relatives watched it approximately 20 times, confirming it was him, and they confirmed that it was him to prosecutors. Appearing in the court in July, he yelled at his attorneys and told the judge he wanted to defend himself. The judge advised against this. At 2:44 p.m., the Republican poster child, Ashley Babbitt, attempts to climb through the smashed window. Capitol Police were removing lawmakers from the House chamber, and this California woman attempts to climb through a smashed window into the door of the House Speaker lobby during the riot. Capitol Police officers shoot Ashley Babbitt, and she dies from the wound. The Justice Department later described the incident in its announcement that the officer who fired at her would be cleared and the investigation into her death was closed. So this describes that closure of the investigation. Hey, welcome, Kelly. Thank you. Bonjour. Okay. Andrea affirms that Aaron is slapping her head at me for the reading. Aaron says the Olympic swimmer. Yes, he was. Firing squad, says Andrea. Those brave male patriots pushed the woman through first. Cowards, says Jim. Andrea says, bonjour to Kelly. So this goes into detail explaining that they were evacuating the members from the chamber while the mob was trying to enter through multiple doorways. They used furniture to barricade a set of glass doors separating the hallway and the speaker's lobby and tried to stop the mob. And 3 officers positioned themselves between the doors and the mob, and we all know the video because we saw the officer getting squashed through the door and all of that sort of was going on. So members of the mob attempted to break through the doors by striking them, breaking the glass with their hands, flagpoles, helmets, and other objects. And eventually the U.S. Capitol Police positioned outside the doors were forced to evacuate. As members of the mob continue to strike the doors, Ms. Babbitt attempted to climb through one of the doors where the glass was broken out. An officer inside the speaker's lobby fired one round from his service pistol, striking her in the left shoulder, causing her to fall back from the doorway and onto the floor. The Capitol Police response team, which began making its way into the hallway to try and subdue the mob, administered aid to Ms. Babbitt, who was transported to the Washington Hospital Center, where she succumbed to her injuries. Okay, by 2:58 p.m., the Capitol Police are extracting and securing staff. Okay, pleasantries are exchanged in our chat this evening, and Andrea explains that she has no voice for speaking tonight, which is why she's in the chat. And that's for Kelly, who just joined us. You're watching Freedom Speech and You, and we're going over the January 6th events timeline. So we were at 2:58. So they were extracting the congressional staff and hiding those people behind tables in their offices, some of whom had barricaded themselves amid the horror. So they got the people out of their offices and they got them to a safer place. And one staffer was actually in the health clinic to get her COVID vaccine on that day. This is when Trump releases on social media. So at 4:17 p.m., he releases this thing on social media. The video that we all saw, the one that Hal went over. At 5:40, the National Guard arrives. So this is 4 hours after the request for them. At 6:01, Trump tells the rioters to go home in love and in peace. But he also tells them, quote, "These are the things and events that happen when a sacred landslide victory is so unceremoniously and viciously stripped away from the great patriots who have been badly and unfairly treated for so long." Donald Trump's words, definitely not ours. Definitely not true. This is the statement that violated Twitter's rules, and they removed it and later suspended him for life for that statement. So I think that is the end of the timeline, and we went over that timeline. And so I will come back to the video, and let's see. All right. Andrea asked me to stick to just the headlines. Kelly says, "I've been challenging, no daring my few Republican friends to watch the evidence. Don't let others think for you. Can't have an intelligent debate with seeing evidence yourself." Andrea says, "I think the Jan 6 committee is doing a great job so far." Jim's asked Kelly, "What kind of response have you gotten?" And Kelly reaffirms that she was saying, "You can't have an intelligent debate without seeing the evidence yourself." Yes, I understood that, Kelly. Okay, so a brief break. I think that's gone. So, and we'll open up another window. And I will, now that I have an audience of 5 or 6, I will go back to our main topic for tonight, which was to honor the victims of the Pulse attack. So I'm going to bring up that, because this is 6 years since the Pulse attack. Andrea says, I got my sister to watch Hal as far as January 6th. Okay. So we're honoring the Pulse victims tonight on the 6th anniversary of their death. And so we have this presentation for you. And I'm going to read chat while I do that. Kelly says, excuses mostly in response to Jim's query. It's rigged. Republicans not represented. All easily debunked, but I'm shaming them, appealing to patriotism and the invite to challenge me with facts. Aaron responds with rainbow hearts for tonight's prime topic, and Kelly displays the pride flag. So I'm going to read the names of the people. So here are the names, and I'm going to get back on my full screen here so I can read those names. So these are the people that died in Pulse 6 years ago. Stanley Almodovar III, Amanda Lizette Alvier, Oscar A. Herencia Montero, Rodolfo Ayala, Antonio Tony Brown, Daryl Roman Burt II, Angel Candiero Padro, Juan Chavez Martinez, Luis D. Conde, Corey James Connell, Tevin Eugene Crosby, Dianca Dee Drayton, Simone, hang on one second, I have to get my branding out of here so I can see the name better. Simone Adrian Carrillo Fernandez, Leroy Valentin Fernandez, Mercedes Marisol Flores, Peter Omni Gonzalez Cruz, Juan Ramon Guerrero, Paul Terrell Henry, Frank Hernandez, Miguel Angel Horanto, Javier Jorge Reyes, Jason Benjamin Josephat. I'm going to hope that that's correct. Thank you for the flags, Andrea. Eddie Jamal Droy Justice, Anthony Louise Loreno Diesla. Okay, I have to bring my banner down. And let's see, can I click on that? Yes, I can. Good. All right, go back to full screen. Christopher Andrew Liamanen, Alejandro Beriz Martinez, Brenda Marquise McCool, Gilberto R. Silver Menendez, Kimberly Jean Morris, Akira Monet Murray, Luis Omar Ocasio Capo, Gerardo A. Ortiz Jimenez, Eric Ivan Ortiz Rivera, Joel Ramon Panengua, Jean C. Mendez Perez, Enrique L. Rios Jr., Jean Carlos Nieves Rodriguez, Javier Emmanuel Serrano Rosado, Christopher Joseph Sanfeliz, Yamari Rodriguez Solivan, Ede Sotomayor Jr., Shane Evan Tomlinson, Martin Benitez Torres, Jonathan A. Camoy Vega, Juan Pablo Rivera Velasquez, Luis Sergio Villalma, Frankie Jimmy De Jesus Velasquez, Luis Daniel Wilson Leon, and Jerry Wright. Those are the 49 names of those who died in Pulse. They are the 49 who were killed, and there were 53 that were wounded. So let me come back to my camera. I have a feeling my camera has gone frozen again. Shoot, fire. Nope, it came back. Good. Okay, it went black screen on me, but it came back. And welcome to Benny Loco. Benny Loco, you didn't get notified. I need to friend a lot more people on Discord or wherever. So I don't know. And YouTube is notorious lately for not sending out notifications. So happy to have you here, Benny Loco. Happy to have those pride flags and prayers from the chat. And greetings going between Benny Loco and Andrea and Crystal, and welcoming from Andrea. And Benny Loco, if you haven't read, Andrea is in chat tonight because she lost her voice. So her medical condition has robbed her of her voice tonight, unfortunately. And Robin comes back and saying he's sorry he missed us. And I need to tell him that we're still on. So I'm going to say we are still on. So we're still on if you want to join us. Okay, now we have new comments. Jim says, hello, Benny Loco, mon chéri. Aaron puts up pride flags. Benny Loco says, YouTube has been dropping the ball on notifications for a good hot minute. Yeah, it's almost like 50-50 on how, where if the morning show has a notification, the afternoon one won't, or vice versa. And then some days it's not on at all. And Andrea just told that we are still on. And so Benny Loco says, hi, honey, to Jim. And Andrea affirms that the things have not been going through so well. And Aaron West says, can you say boo, boo, boo? Awesome. I usually get Benny Loco's notifications an hour after it's finished. I've had notifications like that, Jim. Benny Loco says, can I come over and play on your piano? It's a virtual piano, so I suppose you could. Aaron's hide from Benny Loco. Andrea says, I get Twitch notification before I get YouTube, and Benny Loco laughs. Honestly, sometimes tonight, Benny Loco, I bet, and I'll let her answer for herself, I bet Andrea would almost just say, hey, Benny Loco, come on with Ken, and you can keep him on track. But she gets in my DMs, so anyway. Hey, good evening, Robin, and welcome. So we've been talking about the Pulse Nightclub. We just went through the list of names again. And we've been talking about the timeline for Jan 6. And so that's some of the things that we've been doing. And I've been finding out tonight that my computer has been less than stellar at times, but oh well. So I'm gonna pull this down for a second so that I can. Yeah, it went back. It snapped back. All right, don't snap back on me. Stay put, browser, and let me open this up again. And let me pull that over to where it needs to be. Bing, bang, boom. So chat is flying while things go. So greetings are going back and forth between Robin and others. Andrea affirms that she set me straight and on point. And laughter ensues from Andrea. Benny Locust says, I stream on a tablet. Be grateful for your PC. And so they're just pleasantries all around. And so, well, here's the thing. I mean, I'm actually streaming on 2 PCs. So one of these PCs is a 2014 desktop, which is pretty powerful because it was my son's gaming computer. And the other one of these is a laptop. But the laptop is like the cheapest Dell laptop you can buy. And it's from about 3 years ago. And one of the things that I have to do because I'm using 2 different computers in 2 different rooms is I have to remote into things. So it's just fun and interesting. So every once in a while, I get a little bit confused about what window is what window, and I shrink the wrong thing, and then I lose control of my remote computer, and I just have to just sort of do everything. Okay, so chat is and Betty Locust says I could talk for you, Andrea, so that he can hear you. And pleasantries are exchanged, and both Benny Loco and Robin have apparently been cleaning their garages at their respective homes. And so where in the world is that, and why is that acting that way? Come on. That's out of the studio. Okay. So because Doja needs distracting. I wonder who Doja is. I thought Doja is like a person that is like a singer or something. Isn't Doja a singer? I don't know. So what was I doing before? We did the Jan 6 thing. We did that thing. We did the thing about the guys in the U-Haul, and we were wondering what they were going to do if there was a Jan 6 committee timeline for Monday, June 13, which they probably wouldn't pre-announce the timeline, but we can see there's how to watch it. And then this article on Deadline says who will be testifying. Maybe that's good. That's from June 10th. So this article talks about who might be testifying. That might be a good article to get into. Are you going to let me read the article, Deadline, or are you going to make it so I can't read the article? Things are casual, so that works, says Crystal. Benny's husband, thumbs up. Oh, so Benny's husband is here. Good. Randomonium, thank you for joining us. Desert Ubexer, my alter ego and passion channel. So we've had other people join us now. Thank you so much for joining us here on Freedom Speech and You. The Garage TV got an upgrade, says Robin. I noticed my work equipment hasn't been touched. Aaron West says, oh no. Andrea says, yay, Rand. Jim says, yay, it's the Randomonium. Been there, done yet. And the Doja's channel. Okay, so these are all the different channels that are in the Benny Loco Rand household. Benny Loco says, I actually checked in as Rand and gave you the thumbs up. Aaron West runs to secret Batgirl cave. Meanwhile, back in the Bat cave, Benny Loco says, Aaron West, I am everywhere. I think Benny has access to as many YouTube accounts or more than I have. Benny is showing your channels, Aaron West. I have my bell dinged up now also, says Robin. Let me share you out and see what happens, says Benny Loco. Andrea says she is everywhere. Benny Loco laughs. Benny Loco puts Batgirl laughter. Okay, so is this darn page? Yes, this darn page actually is actually functioning now. Good. Good. Channels is what the kids call it. Facebook has accounts and pages. YouTube has channels. And so that's what it is. And also, when you call it a YouTube channel, you can actually have a Google account and have multiple channels on one Google account. So Aaron says, Robin, did you get your bell ring? Kelly says, Robin, squirrel whisperer. Run. Robin says, hey, Kelly. So anyway, these are the Jan 6 hearings. This is the people that will be testifying. So I'm not going to read you the whole thing, but we'll tell you again, for those who tuned in late, that the hearing starts tomorrow at 10 Eastern, 9 Central, 8 Mountain, 7 Pacific. And if you need another time zone, ask. No, Benny is showing her channels. Get it. It's a joke. There may be as many as 8 days of hearings before month's end, says this article. And more in September. Liz Cheney offered a rough outline of the hearings yet to come and their dates, each of which will have a specific theme and purpose. So the hearing on Monday, Benny goes, you can ring my bell, ring my bell, ring my bell, shing-a-ling, woo. Let me sing that in baritone. You can ring my bell, ring my bell, my bell. Andrea says I'm dying here. Andrea always dies when I sing. Anyway, Monday's hearing is aimed at showing that Trump engaged in a massive effort to spread false and fraudulent information, despite the fact that he knew he had lost the election. And former Fox staffer Chris Steyerwalt will testify. The next hearing will target Trump's alleged plot to influence and possibly replace the U.S. Attorney General in order to further false election claims. Set to testify are Jeffrey Rosen, acting Attorney General at the time, his deputy Richard Donahue, and Justice Department official Steve Engel. So that is supposed to happen in the morning as well. And I recall that she said in her testimony that it was going to be at 10 a.m. as well, but we will see if that's true. So should be at the same time. The next hearing is intended to outline Trump's efforts to pressure Mike Pence. Jim says, finally found something that works against the ravaging squirrel hordes. I think, what, my voice? Benny Loco says, get it, Kenneth, awesome. A 22 asked Benny Loco to Jim the Geek. Moron puts peace sign, prayers, and happy face. Welcome to our chat, Moron. Hi, honey, says Benny Loco. See what happens when I'm not there. I am happy. You are happy. Let's be happy together. Whatever. Benny Loco sends emojis and cheers. Jim says he uses liquid animal repellent. Probably what Batman used as shark repellent. Ron acknowledges Benny and sends peace sign and prayers together, or handshakes, I'm not sure. Maybe high fives. Maybe that's high fives, yes. Not prayers. Andrea says hello to Ron. Kelly says, so many former Trump men from Barr to generals are testifying against Trump. It's astonishing how many Republicans just keep making up excuses. Benny Loco laughs at Andrea. Jim says hello to Ron. And not eat cereal, says Aaron. I am happy. You are happy. Let's be happy together, whatever the weather. But I won't offer you cereal. For Aaron. Andrea says, I don't think Barr will. He'll stick it to Trump. So Andrea expects Barr to stick it to Trump, as he did in his previous testimony. Benny Loco asked Jim, is that why I can't get near my husband? He's using animal repellent. So hearing 4 is intended to outline Trump's efforts to pressure Pence. And there's some hearing speculation that it might be June 16th. And Greg Jacob, former chief counsel of the VP, will reportedly testify. And my screen has frozen again for whatever reason. Hearing 5 might be June 21st. And so on and on and on. And my screen is frozen again on the scrolling stuff. So I'm just going to going to go back to the big screen, and I'm going to see why does it keep doing this? I have no idea. Can I control this screen? Yes. Can I go back to this screen? Yes. Okay. For whatever reason, it's almost like my mouse keeps going to sleep on the remote computer, but whatever. So I'll put it back in. I put myself down here. So this is the stuff, and it loses control again. Why? Shoot, is it because I put my camera on it? Is that why it's losing? Weird. Yes, apparently it has to do with my camera, so that's too much for it. Okay. So Hearing 5 will basically deal with Georgia and the Secretary of State of Georgia, Brett Raffensperger, and Gabriel Sterling, one of his top aides, have been subpoenaed to testify. Hearings 6 and 7 are meant to detail how Trump summoned a violent mob and directed them illegally to march on the U.S. Capitol, and how he failed to act to stop these same people as they invaded the Capitol building. No date is set for these proceedings, Hearings 6 and 7. And also identified to testify is former Judge J. Michael Luttig, who helped convince Pence that the VP could not by himself overturn state results. So that's unclear. C-SPAN serves as the pool for the cameras, and everybody's covering it except for Fox News, because they're not really news. And this goes into detail about the data, the graphic presentations, the hours of footage, the photos. It's likely to be media heavy, as it was the other night. And then this goes into detail about all the networks that will cover it. And is there anything after that? And meanwhile, Chad is discussing the following. Come on back over here, mouse. Okay, so there's laughter in chat. Peace and blessings. Stay cool, says Ron. Jim laughs more. Andrea is sent peace by Ron. Andrea affirms that. Pieces go back and forth. I just want to be a one-man band, and all we need is peace. Aaron says peace. Andrea says Betty Loco in affirm. Robin says I paid $4.59 a gallon in Owensboro, Kentucky today. Ron says peace, same as shalom. Aaron West using Klingon, hi. From Andrea. So Andrea says hi in Klingon. Benny Locos puts the alien face in there and the hi signs and smiles. Andrea wows Robin's gasoline price. Kelly says to Andrea, Barr already did, ratted him in the big lie, but I meant the average Republican voter. His own people say he's a danger, moron, etc., but ego won't let them listening. Andrea says that Fox Business is airing. Benny Loco asks Ron how he's doing today and appreciates him for dropping in. Aaron says to Andrea, that's not Klingon and not a greeting. Ron says non-ethanol in Tennessee is $5.57. Robin notes it took $106 to fill his truck. Andrea says, oh, what did Barr mean by video he put out the other day? Benny Loco says, I only put in $20 at a time. I will buy what I use during weeks travel. Ron says he's having breathing issues today, but not complaining. Happens for 3 days after every hormone reduction. Andrea says, whoa, at more Ron. Kelly says, didn't see it. Monday night, he said he told Trump he lost fair and square. Big lie is stupid. Yes, I did see that. Definitely, Kelly. I think that's actually where I left off in the proceedings when I was watching him this morning. Robin says I'll probably have my TV on MSNBC. Andrea says, woohoo, 11 in chat. Aaron says, Andrea Brower, it's Vulcan. Andrea affirms what Benny Loco does and says, I only buy what I need in gasoline. So we were looking at this, and my computer was constantly freezing on the scrolling for whatever reason. And all of this stuff is about the coverage. And that's the end of that Deadline article. So that's enough of that. Andrea acknowledges Aaron and says you're right about it being the Vulcan sign. Benny Loco says no sense in lugging around a full tank when you don't need it. Andrea says yes in affirmation to Kelly and says yes in affirmation to Benny Loco about not carrying the full thing. And Kelly says I'll look for it. So we did 11 likes. Woohoo. It's like traveling on a light meal. Ron says I was high dose of prednisone and heart still under 30% every week. Reduced 5 milligram puts me down 3 days because oxygen randomly drops real low, leaves me gasping. I hope you can control that, Ron. I don't like that low oxygen level. It's very dangerous. Robin says I might be in Midas touch on my phone during hearings unless there's a better place to catch it. That's probably pretty good beyond Midas touch. Benny Loca says, dang, in direction to Ron, shaking my head, keeping you in my vibes, babe. Yes, we'll keep you in our vibes, Ron, and those of us who pray will pray for you because we want you to feel better. I don't like low oxygen levels. Brings back too many memories. So can I take that? Can I get that out? All right. So I didn't know if anybody wanted to watch any more content or look at any more thing. Jim says I don't drive as much. So once a month he tops off the tank, usually for about 6 or 8 gallons. Aaron says, speaking of gas, I'm finally getting the settlement by insurance company so I can buy a car soon. Woohoo! Andrea says, I had to have an ablation. My heart rate dropped to 25. And she directed that at Ron. Andrea gave Aaron her yay in getting a car. Benny Loco said, yay, good on you. Aaron West put her hands together for more Ron. Jim says, woohoo, Aaron West. Andrea says, I don't go anywhere, hardly work from home, except Thursday and Friday and Saturday I do work. So there's few things that going on. And we had 10 people. We have 8 people on YouTube and 1 on Twitch. And again, as I always say, the one on Twitch could be myself trying to send it out to Twitch. But I don't really know unless I monitor that. And if I monitored that, that would just slow the computer down. And we don't need that. So, but yeah, might be people just randomly checking us out to see what we're about. So, any more topics for tonight? Because I've gone 2 hours and 47 minutes, and I haven't had my dinner tonight, and it's 10 o'clock here. So, I just want to know if there's something pressing that you want to talk about tonight. That's wonderful. Um, for the fathers, we have Father's Day next week. So, I hope the fathers have a good Father's Day next week. I will have to decide. I guess I will do this next week. And we'll see if Andrea's voice comes back. We're going to send good vibes and hope and pray that her voice comes back. And so anything. And Cigar F1 says, hey, Ken. So welcome from Twitch, Cigar F1. Good to have you here. So all of the rest of the chatters tonight are on YouTube. We have 9 people on YouTube, but that's okay because Cigar F1, I'm going to read their chats. So we have Jim the Geek laughing on YouTube, and we have Andrea on YouTube. And I probably said it, Jim the Greek again, didn't I? You know why I do that, Jim? Because Jimmy the Greek, that guy that used to be the sportscaster guy, that's why it sticks in my head. So I'm sorry, Jim. It's Jim the Geek. I get it right when I type it, but every single freaking time I say it, I put that extra letter in there. Okay. Andrea says to Ron, do a sleep study for sure. Benny Loco says, just take it easy, Ron. No sense in busting your ass. Delegate. Ron says, subbed. I'll be back. Thank you so much, Ron, for subbing. Cigar F1 says, love the content. Thank you so much. Cigar F1 says, you have a beautiful home. Aaron says to Andrea, fix your voice lately, lady. This is not really my home, Cigar F1. This is a digital version of a home. And if I put my hands up, you'll see that it's simulating a green screen effect, but it's not a real green screen effect, because when I use a real green screen effect, it kind of gets destroyed. So this simulation, when I keep my arms down, works pretty good. Jim says, I'm waiting for the pathology results from stuff they took out of my gut. So I hope everything comes out well, Jim. Benny Loco says to Ron, thanks, babe. Totally appreciate you. Ron says, you know what, Benny. Andrea affirms what Ron was saying. Robin says, I just posted my garage TV upgraded, so hanging in there 55. Oh, okay, that was the photo you sent. Andrea explains to Aaron Rest that her condition, spasmodic dysphonia, sucks. Ron says Jim almost cleared up Crohn's using high-dose CBD oil. Aaron says to Andrea, I know, in regards to Aaron's condition. Andrea tells Jim to keep her posted. Benny Loco says, right on, Robin, big view. Kelly says, only a model home could be that tidy. There are portions of my home that are tidy, and there are portions of my home with boxes in them still from 3 years ago. But oh well, I'll get back to that. Andrea tells the chat that she's gone a year without her voice. I think I would die internally without my voice for a year. I'm so sorry for you, Andrea. I wish there was something I could do. Andrea says, woohoo to Robin. I think that's about the TV. Cigar F1 says, tell Billy Loco, I am sorry about her and the fallout with Stuttering John. So, Benny Loco, you are told what Cigar F1 said. Kelly says, Jim, I hope it's good news. Thumbs up. Andrea says, Ron, CPD is great. Robin says, I posted it on Kenneth's Discord. Yes, Robin, I will bring that up. Benny Loco says to Kelly, right, a model home. Jim says, did you know that Ken is a virtuoso concert pianist? Only when I play, what is that guy that used to be on PBS? Oh, he's the comedian guy that does the piano. Andrea affirms something that Kelly says. Ghost of Gunter says, ooh, that background looks familiar. Yes, it does, because it's a StreamYard background. Benny Loco laughs. Aaron West says, I dog sit at houses that are like that. I don't doubt that, Aaron. I bet there's some people with some really exclusive houses. And I have to say, folks, as I scroll back to where Aaron said that comment, Victor Borga. Yes, Aaron, thank you so much. That's who I was trying to think of. I have to say, Aaron, that this digital carpet of white is something that you would never see in my house. Now, my real carpet is like a sand beige color, and it has sparkles of black in it. And if I walked away to the other room, I could get a sample of it that you could see. But this is the first time that I've lived in a house that has light colored carpet, and I'm freaking out in my own world. It goes very well with the colors in my house. It makes everything look great. But here I am in Florida with a dirt yard that I never water, that only gets rain on it, and it can turn muddy, and I have a light colored carpet. You better believe I have a doormat outside that I wipe my feet on and pound my feet on to not bring dirt in this house. Benny Loker says, Ghost of Gunter, well, howdy. Kelly says, I would die too. I'm a singer and a talker. Yep. Andrea Lassa, Jim the Geek. Ghost of Gunter says hello to Benny. I hate when that dang thing. Is Victor Borges still alive? I don't believe so, because he should have been up in age. But they still show him on PBS. So let's see. Hey Siri, is Victor Borges still alive? Come on. Why are you being mean to me, Siri? Hey Siri, is Victor Borges still alive? Why is she being mean? Okay, Google, is Victor Borges still alive?
Victor Borga died on December 23rd, 2000, and the place of death is Greenwich, Connecticut.
Okay, so he just died on December 23rd in the year 2000, 21 years ago. I knew he was dead. Ghost of Gunner says, Benny has a great show. I don't get banned immediately. You won't get banned on here either, Ghost of Gunner, because honestly, for me to ban people, that would be a real difficult thing to do. Benny Loco says, I love Victor Borga. Benny Loco laughs at what Ghost of Gunner said. Gosh darn this darn scrolling crap. Honestly, people, I really need to get Restream going so that you can see your comments and I only have to read every few. Victor Borga is awesome, says Andrea, and we established that he is not still alive. Sparkles, the herpes of the theater. I just like to say pianist, says Jim. Jamie Garcia says, hey, Ken. Come on, scrolling. Get back to my life. Sorry, I am late. Never got a notification. Well, Jamie, you know, one of the things that makes it possible that notifications are late is YouTube's current state of affairs. And I really honestly believe that YouTube and Facebook and all of these social media things are suffering because of the pandemic, because they just don't have enough people on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to keep things running. Plant succulents, Kenneth. Plant succulents? Oh, something that would suck up the water and grow? Yeah, I suppose. Ghost of Gunter says, Benny, the dabblers are supporting you. Yes, Ghost of Gunter, thank you so much for everybody who's joining me tonight, because Benny's audience is here. That is so awesome. Jamie Garcia, me either, but I made it, as did you. Kelly says, my carpet is white, not my choice in Florida. It's what's clearly a family house, lots of steam cleaning. Oh, yes. I mean, Kelly, the place I got my carpet at, I love the prices, but like the color choices are basically sand or beige, gray, chocolate brown, and that's pretty much it. Unless you want to custom order something, and you want to not custom order because you want to stay in. And so what I think is the modern influence is that monochrome is in, and earth tones are in, and that's why all these carpets are what they are. But yes, I live in Florida too, and it is what it is. Okay, Andrea said at 10:08, which was 3 minutes ago, she had an issue for Hal on Twitter. And Kelly established that he died in 2000, which we also got back from Google. And why Siri didn't answer me, I have no idea. Maybe Siri doesn't like the fact that my phone is right now on data instead of on Wi-Fi. But that's one of the things about my podcast, is that the camera is coming from the laptop, and the laptop is on Wi-Fi because it doesn't have a hard connection. So for that reason, I have to suppress any Wi-Fi on any mobile device sitting on this desk. Jim says hello to Ghost of Hunter. 11 in the house. Hit the thumbs up, and guys and gals, says Benny Loco. Hit that like. Thank you, Benny, says Andrea. Andrea says, oh, Kelly, I feel for you in regards to the carpet. Hardwood is the way to go. Yeah, Ghost of Gunter, I suppose it will be for me the next time around. The only thing is, I like the carpet because I have a problem with my foot that was caused by a variation of Charcot. And they fixed my foot, but they didn't communicate between the doctor that did the surgery on my foot and the doctor that was monitoring my diabetes, and my foot altered its position. My arch went and sank a little bit again. And so it's good for me to have carpet, because occasionally I can actually walk on carpet with no shoes on. And if I had hard floors, I couldn't do that. The other reason that I had carpet too was that my wife was in the house and she had medical issues and she was falling. And so I had to have carpet for her to fall on, because that was the only thing that was minimizing the danger to her. And so I definitely went with carpet for that reason. Benny Loco says, I can landscape your yard in a hot minute, Kenneth. I do ponds as well. Lived in Florida for 25 years. I know that dirt well and what will or won't grow in it. Yeah, truth is, I could get a friend of mine to landscape the yard. I would just have to pay their business, but they are in the business. Benny says, I love hardwood floors best. To Ghost of Gunner, easiest to keep. Aaron says, I like wood, but I like that vinyl that looks like wood. I have in my kitchen a tile that looks like a wood floor. And you know what? When I read that, Aaron, I said, I like wood in a popular Fox host voice. Certainly not popular with us. Siri is a creepy biatch, says Betty Local. Awesome. I don't know. I just think Siri just sometimes goes wherever on me. I don't know. It could, like I said, it could be because I'm on data. Who knows? Robin does a lot of thumbs up. Benny Loco says, shoot, scrolling is such a pain. The house I'm now in has ceramic floors that look like old barn board, very handsome. Aaron says, shark, you get hit by a shark. I'm going to avoid singing that song. I don't want it stuck in your head. I prefer carpet over wood floor, says Cigar F1. Kelly says, Benny Loco, nice. Just got new floors, carpet next, but only in the bedroom. Ghost of Hunter says, sorry to hear about your wife. Yeah, my wife died. It's been almost 3 months, and my wife had medical problems for 3 years, and she had fall issues because of oxygen issues. So that's why when one of the people in chat earlier was talking about his oxygen issues, that just kind of brings up memories. But yeah, I really want anybody who has oxygen issues to get the health care that they need. Andrea says she's back, and she's been back for 3 minutes. Andrea says, in affirmation, mine too, Benny Loco, but I don't know to what. Benny Loco directs it. Kelly, when I built my home, I had carpets put in all the rooms. The next year, I had it pulled out. The sand is crazy down there, as I learned. Andrea laughs at Siri and directs it at Benny Loco. I don't want carpet, says Benny Loco. You want an area rug. Yeah, but Benny, I couldn't have area rugs because she would have had a terrible time walking over them because she couldn't lift her feet. So she was like walking with a walker and in drag mode when she was walking. So yeah, that was just not working. Yep, and dust Benny Loco. And Ghost of Gunner says area rug. Any updates on the Jan 6 trial? Cigar F1, we went on to the Jan 6 trial information earlier, and we were discussing who it was that was supposed to be at each of the upcoming episodes of that trial. And we know that it's going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday in Eastern Time, 9 Central, 8 Mountain, 7 Pacific. And if you're in a different time zone, please ask, and I will let you know. Ron says condolences. Thank you, Ron. I really appreciate that. It's been almost 3 months, and I'm in a much better mind than I was for the last couple months. And really, in the last couple of days, I had a epiphany that puts me in a better mind and allows me more to focus, but I don't want to get into that. Not that it's harmful to get into that. It's just sort of private information that I don't want to get into. But suffice to say that I stopped focusing on myself and started focusing on the grief and the things that I need to do instead. And I stopped focusing on the people that were negative in my life, and they don't bother me at all. And I was able to get forward because of that. Aaron says, I agree with Benny Loco on hides again, so I'm not sure what that is. And approximately 2 minutes ago, Jim said, good night, time for dinner, take care, and stay healthy. Jim, if you're still watching, thank you so much for tuning in. And please join us again next week, unless we decide to cancel. And the only reason I can think of that I would decide to cancel is if somebody creates a Father's Day event around me and that causes me to cancel. Otherwise, I'll be here. Benny Loco says, roll them out, take them out, hose them off, easy peasy. Yes, easy to remove. Rugs are that way. Benny Loco says back to Aaron West, smiley face and awe. Cigar F1 asks, what are the chances Trump will be in jail by Christmas? Boy, I hope so. That would be awesome. Benny Loco sends good wishes to Jim the Geek. So does Andrea. So does Aaron. Aaron says, I'm in the Mars time zone. Ron says, lost my wife in Brandon, Florida in January 2020. I understand. Set a new focus is exactly right action. MJ Daniel says, hi, everybody. Hi, MJ Daniel, and welcome to the podcast. Andrea says, I'm sorry, more Ron. And Ron, I agree with Andrea. I'm very sorry for your loss. Benny Loco says, MJ Daniel, hey, hi, honey. Andrea sends out a heart to MJ Daniel. More Ron, I remember. Sad face, says Betty Loco. MJ Daniel says, and they really bring the room together. I presume you're talking about carpets. Or rugs. Cigar F1 says, I love that piano. It is interesting that I have a piano, and I can tell you that my maternal grandmother had a real piano. So imagine taking a real piano like that, but I think it was a baby grand. Imagine taking a real piano up and down stairs, because that's what my grandfather did with his brother. Because they lived in a 2-story house and would swap stairs with the people that rented out the house. As a non-American, Trump was hilarious. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, he's got to be funny to look at if he's not your president. Andrea says that would be the best prison. Can't do anything with the tongue. Trump in jail would be the best Christmas present ever. Benny Loco comments back to MJ Daniel. They do. Cigar F1 says hello from Bangkok. I will avoid singing that song too. MJ Daniel says rug. Aaron says wood brings the room together, especially in Tucker Carlson's house, because he likes wood. Benny Loco says, no, he's talking about the Big Lebowski. I've seen the Big Lebowski one time. I need to watch it again, but I am definitely a fan of the star of the Big Lebowski. And I definitely believe that Jeff Bridges in Tron Legacy is basically doing more of himself as the dude in the Big Lebowski character. Benny's channels bring the room together, says Aaron. Yes. MJ Daniel says funny movie. Most certainly. Benny Loco says, and if I read the emoji correctly, fire in the house. Andreas acknowledges Aaron West that, yes, Benny Loco brings it together. Benny Loco smiles and hugs to Aaron West. Totally worth a rewatch, says Benny Loco. Go Benny Loco, elbow cough. I'm not sure what that is, but that's how I see the emoji on my screen. Ghost of Hunter says Coen Brothers made some great movies. Benny Loco says elbow cough, smiley face, grin. I did not know what that is because my computer will not display that emoji. Is that you making fun of me and my coughing? I don't know, perhaps. Benny Loco says, yes, they did Ghost of Hunter. They made me laugh out loud. MJ Daniel says, we are going to watch the newest Bond movie tonight. Ooh, cool, MJ Daniel. I'm somewhat jealous. Ghost of Gunner says she's dabbing. Dabbing, I think, if I understand correctly, means enjoying a dab of the pipe, correctly? Dabbing and dabs. Universal sign of dabbing, says Ron. TB12, I just woke up. What did I miss? Well, you missed us talking about the Pulse Nightclub 6th anniversary and reading the names. You missed us talking about the timeline of Jan 6. You missed us talking about the timeline of the Jan 6 hearings coming up. You missed us talking about the U-Haul in Idaho that had some white supremacists in it that was arrested before they got to do anything because somebody alerted the police. And I think that's pretty much what you missed, other than the discussion in chat and the occasional singing. And Benny Loco says she's never seen a Bond movie. And she grins. How often do you go live? Asked Ghost of Gunter. We go live every Sunday at this time. So we go live at 7:15 typically on Sunday night, which is Eastern time, 6:15 Central, 5:15 Mountain, 4:15 Pacific. And I can give you the UTC time or the GMT time if you wish. But it's 11:15 p.m. GMT or 23:15 UTC. At least while we're in daylight savings time. Ghost of Gunner says, it's like getting to know the people I know in John's chat. Andrea Brower rolls on the floor and sends a dab. Benny Loco laughs at Aaron West. Benny Loco says, breathe. Andrea Brower says, I know Aaron West. Benny Loco takes more dabs and cheers and smiles. What did I miss from Aaron West? Ken, interpreting emojis, I can't breathe. Well, I try. And I'm trying to make sure that those that are on Twitch are able to keep in touch with those that are on YouTube. But maybe everybody's on YouTube now. I'm not sure. Next Sunday is Father's Day. TB12 says, I will invite some next week for the live show. More than likely, I will be on. Good night, MJ Daniel. More than likely, I will be on because I'm not likely to get involved in anything. But if that changes and I'm not on at that time, then maybe I will try to come on at a different time. Maybe on a Friday or something at an odd, weird time that doesn't conflict with anybody else. But we'll just see. But this is kind of really what goes on. Sean Connery is your favorite Bond. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can even do a Bond impression because I can say the words, but I'm not going to try to do an impression. Ghost of Gunner says to Andrea, you're a good sport and it's all in fun. So 7:15 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So now I've gone 3 hours and 15 minutes and it's already almost 10:30 here. And I still have to go eat a little something for dinner. So because I had other things to do today and I had to eat some interim snacks instead of doing the dinner thing. So, folks, I'm ready to call it quits for the night. But I do want to tell you that this is Freedom Speech and You, and we do this every week more or less, unless there's something that really gets in the way. Obviously, we do this from Florida, so a hurricane can get in the way. Lack of power could get in the way. And that's about it, unless there's really something going on. And so I know we're having too much fun. It just is a shame that I have to call it to a close. Well, unless you all want to sit here and chat to each other and watch me off screen eat or whatever, it would be different if I could put music on and they wouldn't have a conniption fit about copyright. I could just put music on. But, it's really, I mean, I could forego eating and such, but then I would be skipping medication that I have to take with food. So that's kind of the problem. In fact, as it is, I'm going to have to figure out what to do regarding tomorrow, because this is probably the latest I've been up on a Sunday night. So I'll probably combine eating tonight with making things for tomorrow, so that I have food to eat tomorrow and I don't have to wake up and make that tomorrow, and that helps a little bit. I need to get a Bongs on the Balcony show. I need to get an audience. Y'all can build an audience for me, and then we can maybe get a Bongs on the Balcony show. I mean, there is one song that I like to do that is Phil Collins, and I'm not gonna, let's see, can I get it in a range that I can sing? I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Well, I remember, don't worry, worry, worry. How could I ever forget? It was the first time, the last time we ever met. Now, if I could remember all the words without the karaoke, I could do the rest. But I do the drum things, So, oh, you're hoping for a land of confusion? This is the land of confusion. Do. Shoot, I can't sing it without the thing. And darn them when they're copyright stuff. It's like, honestly, what can I sing that he did? What can I sing that I did? I could sing some stuff that I heard in concert, because I went to Paul McCartney. But I'm just too tired and whatnot. What can I sing easily? The one I usually sing easily in karaoke is let me drop it in a key so I don't make it pitchy. Got a black magic woman, got a black magic woman. I got a black magic woman, got me so blind I can see that she's a black magic woman. She's gonna make a devil out of me. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Don't mess around with my sticks. Don't turn your back on me, baby. You just might touch my magic sticks. See, that's pretty good. I messed up a few words, but pretty good. Sing Glory Days. Glory Days. Glory Day. Springsteen is hard. Because it's easier to sing Born in the USA. Born in the USA. I was born in the USA. I'm a long dong daddy born in the USA. I laugh at that because I'm not. And Hal likes to do Van Halen. Let's see, Van Halen. Wait. No. I'll Wait is probably not a good song to sing. Do it till we're black and blue. Good night, Karen. Good night, Karen. Shoot, crazy Karen. There's no Karen. The only Karen here is me, who's carrying on. Good night, Aaron. Good night, TB12. Good night, Amish Space Advisory Council. Good night, Benny Loco. Good night, Andrea Brower. Who else is still in here? We got 11 people, 10 on YouTube. You didn't expect to hear that song? Which song? I have no idea what song. Eddie Money? Take me home tonight. Take me home tonight, just like Benny said. Be my little baby. Be my baby right now. Still here in Twitch says Cigar F1. The one I just sang with a high note. You think I remember what I just sang? I'm light in the head right now and off on cloud 9. I mean, it's a wonder I don't have a diabetes thing going on, but I don't remember what I just sang. Don't ask me to testify about what I just sang or did. I have no clue. I'd have to run this back and see. What are the lyrics? Take me home tonight. I don't want to let you go until the light. Take me home tonight. Just like Benny said, be my little baby. Be my baby right now. Oh, 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 oh. I hear the thunder. Do you know that Benny sing Be My Little Baby is an old 50s song. That is an old 50s song. By the way, is Robin still here? Because he sent the picture of his TV, and I don't know if Robin is still here. But Be My Little Baby. Oh, I don't need it. I just remembered. Be My Little Baby is Ronnie, and she's the lead singer of the Ronettes. This is musical information for you. The Ronnie in that song is Ronnie from the Ronettes. And the reference to Be My Little Baby is from the old 50s song, be my little baby, be my little baby right now. I don't sing that very well, but that's the Ronnie that's in the Eddie Money tune. And you learned something new tonight that maybe you didn't know. But Robin was around, and we were going to show Robin's TV, so I will do that before I leave. DISCORD. I'm starting to feel a little bit like Hal Sparks now, doing these 3-hour-long shows. Okay, here's his TV. Can I get it? Yeah, I got it pretty big, and I can bring it up. So there's Robin's TV. That's one way to do a TV. Benny Loco says, I did a 6-hour stream once. Yeah, that works for a TV. We have a TV like that at work in the break room that's in that same kind of position. That's one way to get it done. So we did get to see Robin's TV. So with that, I'm going to close the show, and you can all chat with each other a little bit as I close the show. And, you know, you'll have a few moments to do that, because when I do this, we play a video at the end. I'm going to normally I do a closer video, but tonight, instead of doing the closer video, I'm going to do the where to find us, so that you can figure out where to find us.